These are Indian Garud commandos training with Israel's airborne unit 669. This is the Indo-Israeli-made Barak-8 missile, part of India's dome that helped neutralize over 600 Pakistani threats in May, and the missiles aboard Indian warships in the Indian Ocean. This, the Heron aerial drone that increases intelligence and surveillance, reducing any surprises on India's border with China and Pakistan, and also Israel's Spike anti-tank guided missile, which raises the cost of Chinese or Pakistani encroachment over those borders. But following Narendra Modi's second visit to Israel, all this defense cooperation is set to accelerate and deepen, built on, as Modi told the Knesset, this.
Our shared ideals are the deep foundations that give strength to our modern partnership. We are democracies shaped by history and focus on the future. Our partnership is grounded in shared experience and shared aspirations. Our strong partnership not only serves national interests, but also contributes to global stability and prosperity. Let us ensure that the friendship between India and Israel remains a source of strength in an uncertain world. Am Israel Khai. Jai Hind. Thank you.
Narendra, my dear friend, I am deeply, deeply moved by your visit here today. Because I have to be diplomatic, I will not rank it, because I'll get into trouble. But I've never been more moved than by your visit here with us, a great friend of Israel, a great champion of the Indian-Israeli alliance.
As Netanyahu says, he's never been more moved. Why are India and Israel moving much closer now? And why is it not just Pakistan, but also China that's watching very closely? Hello and welcome to Taiwan Talks. I'm Min Kavat. To discuss this and more, I'm joined by Sana Hashmi, Taiwan Asia Exchange Foundation Fellow, and Gemet Larari, the Jewish Policy Center Senior Non-Resident Fellow. Sana, Gemet, great to have you back on the show. On this visit, India and Israel signed 17 agreements, elevated their relationship to a special strategic partnership, and are about to sign up a free trade deal. Trade between them is already at $4 billion. So, Sana, let me come to you first. Can you explain to us India's ties with Israel? What is it that makes them so deep?
I think Israel partnership for India is one of the deepest partnership that India has had in the recent times. It is dense, it is multi-layered. This is not something that has happened just in a couple of years. So if we go back, Israel operational support for India during the Kargil War in 1999, and then how the diplomatic relations were built in the 1990s.
And that was against Pakistan, wasn't it? Kargil?
That was primarily against Pakistan, but also India has its own interest. As in, of course, that was one of the main factors. But then India saw Israel as a techno partner. Defense partner. So I think that was very important for India to also reach out in all directions. 1990 was a very different time for India. When Soviet Union collapsed, India had to look towards other partner. So with Southeast Asia, India also looked at West Asia. But then, of course, operational support and then the defense procurement from Israel is something that there is a lot of trust between India and Israel. The technology transfer that India hasn't been able to get from the West, India is now getting it from Israel. Then apart from that, there is, of course, the intelligence sharing that has happened between India and Israel. Then Modi was the first Indian Prime Minister to ever visit Israel in 2017. That was followed by Netanyahu's visit in 2018. So I think that was a remarkable development in India-Israel relations. So that was actually also the hyphenation of India's West Asia policy, where India sees very differently Israel and then Palestine on a very different front. So the dehyphenation of Israel from Palestine was something that was also very important.
And in terms of the relationship between the two men, Germont, why is that particularly special?
Well, before I talk about the two of them, I'd just like to point out that Modi has a special relationship with Israel. India officially recognized the State of Israel on September 17th, 1950, which happens to be his birthday. So he has a personal connection with it. It's not just trivial. But the question about Modi and Bibi, some people call it a bromance, which shows a very intimate ties.
Why is that? Why particularly close, the two of these men?
I think it's because they both share several different things. First of all, they have a personal chemistry. They both appreciate each other. They have a personal relationship. They've developed it. Modi went to the Dead Sea and floated with Bibi. They have ideological connections. They're both right of center. They both have a civilizational concept. In other words, India believes it has a destiny in history, just as Israel believes it has. And also, they have a personal understanding that India will help Israel and Israel will help India during times of crisis. And we saw this in Operation Sindoor recently. But also in the past, 1962, Israel provided weapons to India. In 71, before 1999, these are all continuously demonstrating that India and Israel have a close connection. And I think also the other part maybe is they both are strong men. They're very tough guys.
And of course there is the shared concern, Islamism.
Yeah, I mean, both suffer from Islamic terrorism. Both have to deal with both internal and external threats. Pakistan has continuously supported terrorist groups inside Pakistan to attack India, just as Iran has supported terrorist groups like Hezbollah and Hamas to attack Israel. So they both countries suffer this kind of threat.
Amongst all the similarities between these two men, Bibi is known as quite an uncompromising, hard character, while Modi, is a balancer, and he reflects India as a whole. India is multi-aligned, moving from non-aligned. So does this place limits on that friendship and the partnership?
I think if you just look at the definition of their policies, I would say that there are absolutely structural limits, but then I don't think that those are functional limits. So what I think it beautifully works for India in a way that India follows multi-alignment, so it just doesn't restrict India in a way that it has to obey any other country's interest. So India's interest lies in cooperating with Israel, so it is actually doing it. I strongly believe the strategic convergences outweigh any contrast in their personalities, in their approaches, or divergences.